When it comes down to one of the most popular video formats, DVD is certainly one of the ones which is probably at the top of the list. It's easy to see why, because the fact that it's so small, digital, and also very easy to get your hands on these, and also very cheap. I mean, DVDs were just like the one format where it was easy, and it was the big one that basically certainly was on a disc. Or was it? Let me introduce you to the LaserDisc. I mean, you can't see it because of this cover, but if I can pull it out, the LaserDisc. Let's talk about it.
Sit down.
The glamorous LaserDisc, developed by Philips, which is crazy because, I mean, you notice something? This looks like a DVD. If I put it a little bit far, then you assume this is a DVD, but this is massive. Technically, it is MCA and Philips combined, since the MCA made the disc, Philips made the players. 1978, this came out, predating the CD. This was a predate to the DVD. And people are gonna probably ask, isn't this just... This is a video disc. This is a video disc that came out in 1978 and predated the DVD by almost 20 years. This was introduced 3 years after VHS. I mean, it was an optical disc that could read video by a laser. So why didn't it... We'll get to that shortly. Yes, the LaserDisc in itself was the very first video format that could be read by a laser, and it was competing with JVC and RCA. Both of those formats were based on reading like a vinyl, but this read by a laser. I guess, what else can I talk about this? I mean, this was like the big movie disc format before. Oh my god, you can see me in the, like, you can see me through there, like that. Okay, let's get back on track. This is the very first disc that could be played by a laser. I mean, even before the CD, which came out like at least a good 4 years later. This was a big jump when it came down to the video playing movie player. Like, it basically was that big jump when it came down to the next big revolution. When it came down to playing movies, it was the big one. I mean, this was the most popular one before DVD came out. Like, it was the big one. Like, it was the 90s choice when it came down to playing movies. So why didn't it become more popular? Cost. But also the size of these also kind of was a big reasoning. But also, again, another reason, the DVD. People are gonna wonder why. Like, this had everything. Massive movies, the cost was somewhat decent, but it was still a little expensive. It had an HD format. It had an HD format to basically go down, but this just didn't do it. I mean, these were discontinued by the 2000s. I mean, this had a ton of chance to be able to get down. Like, the cost was coming down. I mean, technically there was a rebrand in United Kingdom called CD Video. Cost was the biggest reason. DVD coming out in 1997 was another reason. The size of the disc were also another reason, which... But also VHS was just better-ish. Or it was just... No, VHS was the big one. VHS basically came in and took over in the 80s and the 90s until DVD basically became the big thing. Like, LaserDisc in itself, yes, like the early adopters, the people who could afford these got them, but the casual consumer, no. The casual consumer couldn't afford these. I mean, the players in themselves were super expensive, and also for the fact that these could cost up to, I mean, if this is just a one disc one, so this was like, this would probably be costing up to at least a good 30 bucks, maybe 40. But if you were getting like a big box set, it would be like 80 bucks for a Star Wars box set. These were really cool, but they weren't enough for a consumer to say, hey, I want one of these. And DVD did that. DVD was cheap, it was small, it was affordable. It was the next big format. It was the next big format that people were using. 50% of all households had some form of a DVD player. And also the PS2 was the next DVD player since it was super affordable. It was easy to get into DVD. These were basically a thing where you needed a proprietary player to use these. These were massive, expensive, and it wasn't just worth it. I mean, unless you wanted to put these alongside your vinyls, which a lot of people were starting to get rid of at this time, this wasn't worth it. CDs were worth it because they were small. DVDs were also worth it for the same reason, and they were also cheaper. These were just massive. These were massive, which in one sense it made sense, but then as soon as you came down to actually trying to use one of these, it was not worth it. And it wasn't easy to rent. These were expensive. Again, expensive, expensive, expensive. DVDs were easy to rent. These weren't. And by the time that they were discontinued in 2001, the players being discontinued around 2006 to 2007, they were not easy to get your hands on. I mean, they weren't worth it. So Philips's next big format became kind of a flop. Or it was an 80s success-ish. I mean, it was still a success, but it wasn't enough. Okay, that's the history-ish done. What do I think of LaserDisc? Or, like, just the idea of these big discs? To be honest, I'm surprised I actually have a hand on some of these. I don't own a player for LaserDisc, unfortunately, because the cost of the players in themselves are kind of expensive if you wanted a working one. The LaserDiscs are pretty easy to find. Like, this is speed. As you can see, this is speed, if you can see it. I mean, the idea of LaserDisc is really, like, interesting because, I mean, something that, actually, I think one thing which I have to bring up too, which people are going to assume that LaserDisc is digital. Well, no. LaserDisc is not digital. At least video isn't digital. You'd be surprised that even though it reads by a laser, it is not digital. It is not a digital video. It's an analog video signal. The audio in some LaserDiscs, some later LaserDiscs, are digital, but the video in themselves is still an analog signal, which is crazy to think about because this is just a disc. This is speed, and I mean, you can see that this has a lot more information on it. I mean, this is like a 1993? Yeah, wait. This is 1994, so this is like, so this was coming down to before the DVD was about to come out. I also have some other LaserDiscs right here. So I got the Running Man, which, as you can see, this has the digital video, the digital shit. This has digital sound on it, which, I mean, this is an older LaserDisc. This says it came out in 1988, it says. I mean, this has got some information. This has got the information on it. And this is a bit thicker-ish. This feels weird, too. I mean, this feels weird, which I'm like, I don't know if LaserDiscs are just made differently at its time. This feels a little weird, if I'm being honest. This doesn't feel odd as in, oh yeah, so but it's certainly a case where I think personally, LaserDiscs were just made differently at the time. Again, information on the back, and as you can see, CD video. Again, they were trying to push the idea of CD video, which, I mean, CD video was a different format-ish, which was like gold disc. Techmoan can explain more on that. I know that, I don't exactly explain things in the best way, but I can show you because I want to. This is Apollo 13, and I mean, this is one of the last main ones that came out, which, I mean, kind of crazy how this was like, I mean, this is like massive, and this is actually one of the ones that actually comes with 2 discs, which, I mean, These are probably more expensive if you really think about it, because the discs in themselves are not easy to manufacture. They're more expensive if you have more discs, they're more expensive. And this is one thing which I will say is that the discs themselves are CLV disc. So what's the difference between CLV and CAV on LaserDisc? But yes, the idea of LaserDisc was something that like had a lot of potential. I mean, this did have a lot of potential, had a lot of huge movies. Even Jurassic Park was on it. And I mean, it wasn't like a thing where it wasn't successful. It had the sales for certain, but DVD came and basically took its place. But these are still really cool to own. If you find them, you should certainly try to get some, because these are like somewhat hard to find. If you do find them, then you should definitely get your hands on them. I don't own a player, and I don't intend to get a player because the cost of those are super expensive, and I don't think I'd use it that often. But these are cool collector's items. So I'm gonna say thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me trying to explain LaserDisc and just making a video on LaserDisc. I wanted to talk about this format for a while. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later when I talk about MacBooks. Yeah, MacBooks are something which I want to talk about. Bye.